Hello children, welcome to computer class once again. So today we will continue with chapter number 1, evolution of computers, with a new topic, generation of computers. In the previous video we have learned about the history of computers. Now the generation of computers, that is the classification of the computers according to their common characteristics. Okay, so these generations are nothing but the stages in the advancement of the computer, and they represent certain time period in which the computers which were made were of the same characteristics, and so they are grouped as generations. There are 5 generations of computers, so let's learn one by one. First generation, that the time period is 1940 to 56. Okay, so these generations use the technology that is vacuum tubes. Okay, so let me show you the picture of vacuum tubes. This is vacuum tube which helps to run these big computers. They were very big size, consumed a lot of electricity, and they generated a lot of heat also. So a lot of air conditioning was required. So a lot of electricity was needed to run these computers. A lot of funding was required, very expensive, and they were very slow, could do only one problem at a time. Now let's talk about their input and output devices. The input devices was the punch cards and the paper tapes, children, and the output was displayed in the form of the printouts. And they have, for the storage of info data and information, they have magnetic tapes, children. Now here children, let me show you here these quickly. This is magnetic tape, children. Now here these are paper tapes which were used for giving the input to the computer. These are the punch cards, children. These are the punch cards, right, for giving the data and information, for storing it. Okay, all right children. Now in the next generation, these hard disks were used. These are called magnetic disk. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the picture so that the idea is very clear in your mind, right? So these were the first generation computers, very big in size, very expensive. General person or layman cannot afford it. Okay, yes. Now these were only used by the experts. Now second generation computers, they it is in the time period 1956 to 63. They used transistors, children, instead of vacuum tubes. So these transistors was invented here by the 3 people here. The name is given here: John Burdeen, William Shockley, and Walter Brittain. Okay, now children, I'll just show you. This is the transistor, and the size of the transistor was very small than the vacuum tube, and that is how the size of these second generation computers were smaller than the first generation. These were cheaper, these require less amount of electricity to keep them cool, okay, and they were more efficient than the first generation computers. Okay, in the first generation computers, children, machine language was used for doing the programming. In the second generation computers, assembly language was used for doing the programming, and few high level languages like Fortran, COBOL, BASIC were also started or we can say made their existence in this generation. Right children? And the input and output devices were the same: punch cards and paper tapes, and output was on the printout, and magnetic tapes were used for the storage. Okay, so here is the picture example: IBM 1400, IBM 350. So these are the pictures of the second generation computers. And the first generation computers, children, these are which we learned yesterday, no? In the first video: UNIVAC, ENIAC, ADVAC, ADSEC. Okay, all these are first generation computers. Now moving ahead children to the third generation computer, the time period was 1964 to 71. In this time period, whichever computers were made are of the same characteristics, and they were classified as third generation computers. Now they use the technology to run the computer was integrated circuits, that is IC. Let me show you the picture of IC. This is integrated circuits, children. So these were again very small. That means on a single chip, thousands of transistors were fit. The transistors were fit here in the second generation separately. Now these were integrated. Integrated means on a small chip, thousands of transistors were placed together, and that again led to the reduction of the size of these computers. So these computers were small in size, size, their calculating speed increased, they were more reliable, that means they can do very good correct calculations. Okay, their storage capacity was good. Now instead of magnetic tapes, they started using magnetic disc, which is a group of platter of magnetic tapes. Okay, so their storage capacity also increases. Now the input device changed from punch cards now to the keyboard here, and the output devices were used which were used were monitors and printers. Okay, so and the languages which were used in this generation was Pascal and RPG. So that was an advancement in the third generation computers. Okay, as ICs were used, which reduced their size, and efficiency also was increased. Right, now so these are the example pictures. This is IBM System 360, the first picture. The second picture with the Apple sign here, this is Apple 1, and here the picture on the side is of Altair. So you can see the size is reduced, right? Now moving ahead, children, to the fourth generation computers. Now the time period is 1972 onwards to the present. In the first video I have talked about in 1971 the IBM PC was launched, which revolutionized the world, which made a change in the computers. Okay, and these were very small in size, which could be used, now available to the public also, not to only to the experts or to the business people, to the public also. They can afford to buy it. Okay, now they have become affordable because they were small in size. They are portable. Portable means can be taken from one place to another. They were cheap and affordable. They were reliable, children. Okay, and here these computers use a magnetic disc, very high capacity, just like previous third generation also they are using magnetic disc, but here the capacity increased. And the major technology which was used was microprocessors. And microprocessors are what, children? These are ICs only, integrated circuits only, chips only, but very VLSI, that is very large scale integration was there. That means on a single chip in the third generation thousands of transistors were there. Now on this, on a small chip, we can say lakhs of transistors and circuits were there in a small chip. Alright, so that is microprocessor. Let me show you the picture of microprocessor here. This is the microprocessor in which thousands of lakhs of integrated circuits were there. Right, now here the examples are IBM PC here, and this is then this is Apple Macintosh. Okay, now Ted Hoff was the scientist who prepared the first microprocessor in the year 1971. That is the Intel microprocessor, that is Intel 4004. Okay, input devices used were, along with keyboard, now came mouse, scanner, and many other input devices. Okay, and output devices other than monitor and printer, there were plotters, that are big printers, and speakers were there, children. Right, and these computers now can be linked through network so that they can share information with each other. And it is in this generation only the existence of internet was there. Internet was used by the people for sharing information. Okay, and this can be done by connecting all the computers, and information can be shared in any part of the world. Right. Okay, so these were the this fourth generation computers, and the present computers which we are using falls under this category. Okay, children, now moving ahead to the fifth generation computer, that is the present computers which we are using in the present, the very advanced computers which we are using in the present and beyond. Okay, so this fifth generation computers involve artificial intelligence, where computer can behave, think, react in the same manner as human do. Okay, these are still under development. These computers are still under development. That is, future computers are still under development. But here there are some applications of this fifth generation computers or artificial intelligence you can see in the present day computers, like voice recognition. Now the computers can recognize our voice. We speak and they follow our command. There are various systems like biometric systems are there, where our touch is also recognized, where our face is also recognized. Okay, so now the computers have become smart. They can they have start sensing human touch, human body, human face, okay, and human voice. So that is also a quality of a fifth generation computers. And the future computers, they are working on robotics, children, making computers which can walk, talk, and behave and take the self decision like human being. They can give human reasoning also, and they can understand natural language instead of just programming language. Programming in the natural language could also be understood by the future computers, and scientists are working on it. Okay, you must have seen Alexa, or I'll just show you some systems which are of fifth generation here. These are some input and output devices which are used in fourth generation and we are using today also. These are the input devices: mouse, keyboard, joystick, mic, scanners, and all these we are using, right? These are the output devices which we are using. Okay, monitor, printer, plotter, and speaker. Okay, these are the biometric system which recognizes our face, our iris, our you can say your hand touch. Okay, now here, these are the speakers. This is the technology of the fifth generation, recognizing our voice. Right, children? So these are the pictures I've collected to give you an overview of the fifth generation computers, and scientists are heading towards making robots also, which could behave like human being and can give decision also. That is a limitation of a computer. They cannot think on their own, but scientists are working towards making such computers which can think on their own. Okay, that is artificial intelligence. Now let us move on to the next topic, that is characteristics of computer, that is the qualities of computer. Computers have a lot of qualities, and that make them better than human beings. Okay, first, speed. That is the amount of time taken to complete any work. Computer works with a very high speed. Millions of calculation it can do in very less time, very quickly. Okay, and computers are classified on the basis of the speed also. In supercomputers, the fastest computer, then mainframe, mini computers, microcomputers, okay, according to their speed. Now accuracy, that is the degree of perfection of work, that is called accuracy. Computers are very accurate. They never commit any mistake. They are never wrong. Until and unless the wrong input is given, they don't give you a wrong result. Okay, reliable, that is the quality of a computer to perform consistently well. We can trust on computers that they will constantly do well. Okay, and complete their duties in a particular prescribed time. So that is, they are reliable. Versatility means, versatile computers means they can do a variety of jobs. That's why they found their use in many places like education, communication, banking, business, okay, airports, and all these places because of their versatile nature. Storage, they have capacity to store data, that is called storage. They have very high capacity, and devices are also available for storage like hard disk, CD, DVD, pen drives. These are used for storing large amount of data. Okay, children. Now diligence, computers are very efficient. Diligent means efficient. That means they can work for long hours without taking rest, without being tired. Just like human being get tired after some time, no. But computers are efficient. They don't feel fatigue. Okay, and they don't take rest in between. They can work for long hours. Multitasking, computers can do many tasks at the same time. Like for example, you're typing a document in Word, at the same time you can listen to the music, you can do a Google search also. So many applications you can use at the same time. That is the multitasking feature. So all these are the characteristics which make computer an advanced machine a basic necessity for us in this modern world. Right, children? Now moving ahead, let us discuss some limitations of the computers, that is the drawbacks of the computer which pull it back a little. That is, it is incapable to think. That is, it cannot think on its own, it cannot take decisions on its own. If any error is occurring in the computer, it cannot take an alternative action, that if this error is happening, then it can think and give its own solution to the problem. No, it cannot do that. So that is a limitation. no intelligence, it has no IQ like us. Okay, it needs instructions at every step, it needs a command from the user to do any work. So that is a limitation. Dependence on power, it is electronic device, so it needs power and electricity, which makes it costly. Okay, so these are all the limitations of the computer. Okay students, so this is the second part of the first chapter children. I have given you the first part of explanation yesterday on 22nd March. Okay, so do watch it in the gallery of the eCare Pro app. Alright children, I hope you have understood the chapter. Thank you.